Good evening, good evening. Sorry I'm late, you guys. I'm having a existential crisis over here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm so kidding. I had to switch up my project at the last minute and I'm still not sure what we're gonna do, but it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Everything is going to be fine. How are you guys this evening? Welcome to Chattin and Crafting with Royce and David. I am Royce Hunt Bell, the voice that you guys hear behind the camera. Baby, it's cute for you to say hi.
What's the matter?
Is my husband David Bell?
I'm sorry, I was getting everything lined up.
Okay. And together we make up Roycycle Treasures. We meet here every Sunday night at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And we do
Turn on your microphone.
Is it not on? Oh, a lot of chatting and a lot of crafting. So hopefully you guys will join us tonight and you will find there'll be a little bit of entertainment and certainly some inspiration, hopefully. Oh my goodness. And we have the grand tonight. So if you guys hear a little, voices, it's because Damar is here with us, hanging out this evening. You want to say hi to everybody before we get started, babe?
Well, we only have a few at the moment, but we have Karen Moyer on Facebook. We have Sherry Meek on YouTube, Monica Lucas, Jolene DeVitt, Jerry Peter.
That's what I
And made on Maple Lane.
Thank you guys.
Angie Champagne asks, keeping cool.
No.
Funny you should say.
No, we are not. No, it's not even really hot yet, but it got hot so fast. I just don't think we've had a chance to really acclimate. And so we went grocery shopping today. Y'all would have sworn that we went like on a safari in the Serengeti, like how we were when we got home today. We were so tired. There's a lot of peopling now too. Well, for me.
We went to the park yesterday too.
Yes. In the heat.
And it should be noted, we always say 100 here is not as bad as 80 somewhere else, which is true. However, we went from 70 to 100 in 4 days.
Seriously. And then it's going to go back down though, right? Okay, I'll take it. So, you guys, I am a hot mess today. I was so prepared. So there's a couple of things. You guys remember, let me put the other camera on so that you guys can see the table. So you guys can see my mess of a table. And then I will minimize me. Oh no, that's not what I want to do. There we go. And I thought I had fixed it so that I was even smaller in the corner. It's just a little circle. Okay. All righty, there we go. I knew I'd get there eventually. So, you guys, last week we worked on our silver tray upcycle, right? And then we were gonna put the spoon on there, and we had our candle that we were gonna put on there, and we were gonna finish that tonight. However, I forgot we have Damar tonight, and so in order for me to finish this project, I need to use a solvent-based sealer, and I also want to experiment with resin, but I'm really not comfortable doing that with Damar in the room. So we're gonna do something else tonight, and then we'll circle back to this project next week, if that's okay. Although I do love, you guys see all the wonderful crackle on my candle? I love it. So this is like all done. We just need to like seal it and assemble it. I probably don't need to put a layer of resin on here because we're not going to use it like a tray, but we'll circle back to this one next week and we'll finish it. And then I had pulled out this piece. This is a piece I had prepped for our daily lives that we did in January. And it's just a metal tray I scored at the thrift store. But when, and I saw that it bled through my original coat. Can you guys see how yellow that is? There was tons of bleed through and I was like, not a big deal. We can talk about primer and we can just put a second coat of primer on. But I had cleaned this piece before. but it's been kind of sitting out here in the shed. And I was like, let me go through and just take some alcohol and just wipe it off and make sure that there isn't any like dust or anything. And I had even mixed up some white milk paint so we could like freshen this up and then use the second half of the botanical decoupage paper on the tray. But when I went to like clean it up really quickly, this is what I discovered. Like this is gonna bleed right through my milk paint, and that is not gonna be okay. So I'm gonna have to prime this piece probably a couple of times because, like, look at that. It's bleeding. Whatever finish is on here is coming off like a lot. So I'm gonna have to table this piece. I'm gonna have to prime this again. This is I imagine the rest of it is gonna bleed through as much as this. When I'm priming in order to lock back stains, you guys, if I put on a layer of primer and I have bleed through like this, I'm gonna let it sit for at least 3 hours, preferably like 24 hours. And then I'll come back and I'll go over this again with a second coat of primer to really make sure everything is locked back. So even if I prime this right now before we put on the milk paint, there's no way we can let the primer have enough time to do what it does, which is to really set up and lock back whatever this finish is that's coming off this piece. So I'll have to circle back to this one. It's a troublemaker. No troublemakers tonight.
All right, we have a couple of things real quick.
Yes.
One, if you are on Facebook, we'd appreciate it if you would share this.
Please and
Put
thank
a
you.
comment, an emoji, whatever you would like. It really does help. It really helps expand the channel out to everybody who would like to see it. If you're on YouTube, we would appreciate you subscribing. Hit the thumbs up. That also helps the channel, the engagement. A comment helps. And hit the bell. That'll let you get notified when Royce is live, and you can customize your notifications. I'm a no notification guy, except for you and bad movies. Those are my two. The other thing we have is a question from Elizabeth Geis.
Yes.
Should we bring shorts to the retreat?
Where are you? If you're somewhere where it's cooler, yes, bring shorts. It'll probably be 80, mid 80, 80, 85, which might be warm for you.
We've had a warm winter,
I
a
know.
warm spring so far. We could hit 90s pretty easy.
I hope not.
Now you'll be inside.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're coming from somewhere where it's cool, bring shorts. Yes. So now I'm spinning a little bit trying to figure out what we're gonna do tonight because my plan didn't work and I didn't realize until right before we were coming live. But I do have oh wow, this is a new book. Maybe I should use an old book. I thought this was one of my journals. I did cover this. It's probably just a book for a book stack. But I do have a journal out here. So this morning I was watching Peggy from, oh Lord, I can't remember her business page. She's in New York.
To get a refill.
Darien Cottage. Is Kathy here tonight? Because she'll remember. Somebody here. Karen, I mean, Dorothy, you know. What is Peggy's business page? Oh my gosh, I'm such a dork. I can't remember. You guys, I'm bad. Even here locally, like, I talk about businesses by the owner's names. I don't know. I just attach to people more than things, I guess. Yeah, Peggy, is it Darien Cottage? Yeah, Darien Country Cottage. Thank you, Lori. And she's in New York. And this morning she did a segment on painting the paintable botanical decoupage paper. And somebody in the comment said that they had bought that paper and they had no idea what to do with it. And I was really stricken by that. And that just means that I haven't done a good job of demonstrating the paper for you guys. So I thought it would be fun for us to do the paintable botanical decoupage paper and paint it together. But I couldn't find my big watercolor palette. So I'm whining. I'm sorry. I did find one of my smaller ones. This is one Lexi Grinzer made these for us when I had my very first retreat here in Safford. I think that was 4 years ago, 5 years ago. It was a while ago. My very first retreat for my retailers. And she made these little mini ones for us because we did a lot of like creative projects during the retreat. And so I did find this one. So I do have some watercolors. And I also have some transparent colors here. So when you are painting the recycled decoupage papers, you don't have to use watercolor. You can use any paint, but transparent colors are just easier. So I'll just use some between the watercolors that I have here, some transparent paint. We will get her done. And that's probably going to be a better representation for what a lot of you guys have already anyway. So stuff always worked out exactly how it's supposed to. But now I got to find something to do with this white milk paint because I mixed it up, dagnabbit. And so I was going to use the Roycycle Botanicals blocks. No, I think Spring Botanicals decoupage paper. This is just one half of it. We already used the other half of the sheet to make this Lazy Susan during our daily lives in January. So on this particular design, one half is neutral and the other half is color. I think I might have, hold on, because I think I might have a thumbnail so you guys can see the whole paper. Is this it? Yeah, so this is the Botanical Blocks decoupage paper. This is one of the ones from the newest spring release. And you guys can see half of it is really colorful, pink and green. I'm an 80s girl. Pink and green are always a beautiful combination. And then on the right side, you have, it's still springy. You have florals, and you could absolutely paint those florals, by the way, but it's just more neutral than the left side. So let me grab my other art journal really quickly and we will go ahead and get started. I just had it. What did I do with it?
So I have a question. I have a couple questions that you may have already answered while I was out getting a chocolate milk refill. Was it the book that unfolded with photos? Did you answer that?
The book that unfolded with photos. No, that was actually, that was a different business. And one of her customers made that book. It was so fabulous, right? And so she used a lot of the paper in that book is from the recycled catalog decoupage paper. And that paper has a lot of really small, basically, I've been designing for years now, and a lot of designs have retired. So the recycled catalog was a fun way to kind of revisit design. Some of them we're still using, but there's a lot on there that we are not using anymore. But they were just little small, a lot of, I think there's probably 30 designs represented on that catalog sheet, maybe. There's a lot. And so she went through and she used all those little pieces to make that book. It's beautiful.
Linda Henderson and Karen Moyer say Darien Country Cottage.
Yes, thank you guys. That is Peggy's business name. And so she did a full presentation this morning, and it was fabulous. I don't even know if I have clear gesso out here. I mean, I have some somewhere. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine.
Karen Moyer asks, is it better to seal the paper first before using the watercolor?
Well, we're going to talk about that, Karen. We're going to talk about that right now. Let me find a page. You guys, my art, I watch people online and they go through all their pages of their art journals and like every page is beautiful. And I suppose like for some people that's how they work. But to me, this journal is for me to like practice and to like figure stuff out. So my pages are not pretty. Some of them are because whatever I tried worked out, right? This was fun. This is recycled vintage wallpaper or wallpaper decoupage paper. We did this actually inside of our membership 2 years ago now, I think. Anyways, but
Jerry Peter asks, did you Debbie sample pack of clay paint?
No, I do not have a sample pack of Debbie's clay paint. Yes, love. Okay. Damar is playing Plants vs. Zombies. So
True.
Oh, Plants vs. Zombies 2. So I have a lot of experiments in here. You know, this is just a lot of transparent paper. I was just kind of, I don't know, messing around. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. Look, this is the page that did not work. And This one, you guys, I used colored pencils on the paintable decoupage paper, and the pencils were fun because you have a lot more control. But anyways, I digress. Let's find a page
While you are looking, I have
that
another
is
question.
gessoed. Yes.
Oh, well, first, Jolene DeBitt, your decoupage on metal was so good.
Oh, thank you. The sap bucket. That project was so fun. It was one of those times where I came into my shop and I turned my camera on and I just ignored it. And I just worked on that project.
And Dorothy Lage asks, can I pick up new papers in Safford next month?
Yes, we have a trip to the warehouse planned for Saturday, Dorothy, and we'll make sure and have everything out for you guys. And there will also be retired papers out too, you guys, for you guys to shop as well.
And the final one I'm going to ask before you start your project, Robin Tulaski, not so much a question, but a request. Would love to see a holiday paper mini images on a master board for all of the new frame and ornament molds.
I know, right? I will say that when I did the postage, I don't know if you guys remember the Christmas postage decoupage paper, that's what I had in mind because I knew that IOD was going to be coming out with the mini molds. And so that paper, I thought about ornaments or, mini molds. And so the Christmas postage paper does have a lot of small holiday scenes in it. And it's like varied. There's some Art Nouveau Christmas. There's some traditional Christmas. There's some Santa Claus. There's a lot of different designs on that one piece of paper. But yes, that would be fun. And super quick, I know I'm getting started late, you guys, but you guys remember last week when I did that tray and then I did the crackle over that turquoise blue and I squealed a little bit because I had an idea. And my idea was I had made inside of our membership, we spent several weeks learning how to use a gel plate. And so I have a ton of paper from the gel plates. And we were talking about how you can use them. And so these are little broches. And I just put the jelly pools underneath here and then glued the cabs right on top of there. And so when I was working on that tray and I used the two-part crackle from PintsArt over that, I was like, oh my gosh, that looks kind of like turquoise. So I was curious. So during our membership call while we were chit-chatting, because I teach for 40 minutes and then we chit-chat for the rest of the time. I was playing with the two-part crackle on a piece of paper and I was able to get it to crackle. And I know you're looking at it going Royce, that's weird, but look, could you imagine this under a cab? That looks like it could be turquoise, right? It is so pretty. So I have to finish that experiment though. Another day, not right now. Let's paint some paper. And I think I want to make sure and do a bird. I do want to talk about the birds because I think I haven't seen a lot of people painting the birds, and I think I know why. So we have a big old bird here, but we don't have a flower. We could do that. Let's do that. That'll give us, I don't want to chop off his head. We won't. This will give us a bird to play with, and then we'll still have a little bit of flower kind of leaning in there. And I am not going to cut my bird's head off. Just sorry, you guys. So I'm going to cut around him. I think that'll be good. So we can paint a bird together because I haven't seen you guys doing it. And so I want to encourage you to do it. And I hear a lot of people talk about what color is it supposed to be. And I kind of wanted to talk about that today. You guys, as creatives, you guys are literally world builders. You're creating something that didn't exist before you created it. And so there are no rules. There are no rules. Your bird can be whatever color you want it to be because this is your world and you're building it the way you see it. And so you don't have to follow any rules. So if you want your bird to be fluorescent, it could be fluorescent. And if somebody has something to say about it, you just tell them they can paint their own bird. I'm being a little ornery tonight, but it's true. I was thinking about that. Like, as artists and creatives, we are literally building worlds that don't exist. And so don't confine yourself to the rules as they are, because you can do whatever you want. I remember I used to teach craft classes at our local senior center, and we were doing a pumpkin project. And I was telling ladies, like, you can paint your pumpkins whatever color you want to. And my one little Vihita, she was giving me the side eye for real. It was Miss Amelia, by the way, baby. She was like a purple pumpkin. She was like, oh no, there are purple pumpkins though. Just as a side note. Are there any questions, babe?
Say it again.
Are there any questions, comments?
Dorothy says the back of some wine barrel head.
Yes, it will include. As a matter of fact, it's funny you mentioned that, Dorothy. We not that we're not going to ever do Whatnot again, but we're probably not going to do it for a while. So I will have a lot of stuff in the stash. So in the warehouse, I have it's like a little kitchenette, and we have shelves in there. And right now, it's pretty much like, I don't know, it's like a picker's corner in there because we have everything out on the shelves. So that will be there for you guys.
And Sonnet is not getting exclusive access.
Well, I didn't realize that everybody didn't know until after.
Well, she was the first one there. I was the first one there, and Sonnet arrived. The Wisconsin, Minnesota gang.
The gang.
And they're like, where's the Whatnot stuff? And then they closed the door.
They did. And I was so busy, I didn't even pay attention. So, yeah.
God bless them. They were smart.
But yes, Dorothy, you guys will get to shop. Did you buy those wine barrels from me, Dorothy? I was wondering. There was a guy in Tucson that I used to buy those from. He used to set up on Houghton, right up from QT, like Houghton and Wilmot, like maybe 2 blocks. Let's see if that's east north.
I don't know if he was at Wilmot, but yes.
It was like 2 blocks north of Wilmot on Houghton, but he hasn't been there. I'm so sad because I was able to buy. Remember when we had my Spring Fest that one year and you came? I was able to buy all those wine barrels from him, but I have not seen him. So
Tucson Youngsters said they had trouble finding you on Facebook.
Oh.
So they're on YouTube, which is great.
Hey, Tammy, how are you? I know, Tammy, you're going to cause problems. You use that retired paper to make that side table, which is beautiful, by the way.
Maybe she's got copies.
I'm sure. Do you have that paper in stock, Tammy? I'm assuming she does because she used it.
She had a cool post showing her
Yeah.
her store.
So
I like that.
Super quick, I misted my paper, and if you're new, you guys, it's just water in that bottle. It's nothing special.
And Tammy says, "How?"
Oh, you know, Tammy, has he been there? I haven't seen him. I mean, I would see him on Facebook, and we would set up a date, and then we go up there. I would buy like a lot of those barrels, but he hasn't been there. I'm very sad. I'm sad. So for today's project, I'm going to be using matte medium to decoupage my paper onto my page. You don't have to use this. You can use whatever you have on your table. If you have like chalk paint and clay-based paint, you probably have a water-based clear coat. You can use that to adhere and to seal your paper. If you have like acrylic stuff on your table, that's what you use, then your mediums are fine. I personally, and you guys, I don't really endorse a ton of products. And when I do, it's because I really love them. Just so you guys know.
Well, Dorothy bought them at your yard sale.
Oh, okay. Liquitex's matte medium, I love it so much. I really, really do, because it's like liquidy, and it's really good because it's not tacky, so it's not like gripping my paper when I'm trying to manipulate it. And it leaves like this beautiful matte texture. that isn't, you guys know how sometimes acrylic products can be kind of plasticky. And this one, it doesn't have that. It's like a really true grippy matte finish when you decoupage with it, or when you use it in general. So I'm just going to use this to decoupage my paper. I missed my paper because the reason why you get wrinkles in your decoupage paper is because when it comes into contact with the moisture of your decoupage medium, the paper starts to expand and it's responding to your medium. And at the same time that it's expanding, you're trying to stick it down to something, right? So that's what causes the problem. So by missing your paper in advance, the fibers are expanding. And so you're kind of eliminating that, that problem. So that's why I missed my paper first, and then I don't have to deal with all that. And in my Decoupage with Confidence course, I really go in depth into that. I always think about things on a micro level. My mind is kind of crazy.
Jamie says she hasn't seen them in a while, but she does have a few still at home.
Yeah. I have a couple. I think I have like, I know, Dorothy, that yard sale was a few years ago. And then I sold some last year. I sold some on Whatnot, and I still have a couple more. So yes, Miss Dorothy, I do have a couple of wine barrel lids in my Whatnot stash. And I'm calling it my boneyard. Because back in the day when you would have it, when we would have a show, we would have one section of our booth that would be all of the made things. But always have a boneyard, because if you went to a show, you really didn't, it's like every show had its own personality. When we went to Bears that one year, we didn't sell that much pre-made stuff, but they cleaned out my boneyard. But at the wine festival, nobody bought anything from the boneyard, but they cleaned out the pre-made stuff. So you just never know. So I like to have both. Okay, so this is adhered. It's still with my matte medium. I am going to hop over to the other side just for a second, you guys.
Dorothy says you are also getting to say when you wet the journal page, it will start to curl.
This page, I mean, it's really not. These pages have been gessoed for a while. Maybe that's why. I don't know. This paper really isn't responding, but I know what you're saying though, Dorothy. And so just as a note, I go through and gesso multiple pages ahead of time. And this is just a book, y'all. Just a regular book. This is not the best way to do it. You can see my spine is coming apart. So this is not something I'm gonna like, I don't know, I'm gonna keep it, but it's like my own personal art journal. This is like the mad scientist's notebook where all the secrets lie. That's what this is. Let me grab some clear gesso, or I'm hoping I can find some watercolor ground. Give me 1 second.
Flea wants to have some kind of craft supply boneyard sale or trade.
Yes, they are doing a trade. So you know the room inside of the venue where I think it's the groomsmen's room, that one room downstairs, babe.
Okay.
They're gonna set up in there so that they can swap. So if you're coming to the retreat and you have craft supplies that you have and you haven't used for a long time, you can bring them and you can swap them for something else that somebody else can bring. And Flea is in charge of that. And her name is Felicia Brown on Facebook, you guys. So if you're inside of the retailer retreat group, I mean, not retailers, if you're inside of the private retreat group on Facebook, you can tag Flea or Felicia Brown about that, and she will give you guys the info on that, because that is her baby, which was an excellent idea. Thank you, Flea. So I'm going to dry this super quick, and I did find some watercolor ground. And so basically, you can turn any surface into like watercolor paper. So the thing about the reason why we love watercolor paper and then why it works so beautifully is because of how it's made. And the really expensive watercolor papers are super thick, so they're absorbent, but they're also made out of cotton a lot of the time. And so basically we're going to be putting a layer, right, of cotton on top of this so that this acts sort of like watercolor paper. So I'm going to shake this up and make sure everything is good, but let me dry this super quickly. I feel like I'm all over the place today. If you are new, I would apologize. It's always a hot mess around here. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to lie to you and say that it's always organized because it's not, but it's always real. I can promise you that much. What did I say I was going to talk about tonight, babe?
How adorable your husband is.
My husband is adorable, but no, that wasn't it. What was it? It was something important. Oh, the contest is one. That wasn't what I said. Tonight is the last night to vote in the Royce Creative Contest. So if you haven't gone through and liked your favorite pieces, make sure that you do that when we hop off of our live tonight.
Is it?
It is. You want to touch it?
Oh no! Ah,
It's the little one.
that's crazy.
Go over there. And the way that you vote, you guys, is you just like, and you can like as many projects as you want. You're not limited to just one project. It looks, I know, Lisa, yes, it's well loved. This is where you guys know how you guys get ideas, like crazy ideas. And you want to sit down and figure it out, but you don't want to have to do like a full-on project. You just want to test something out. Like, this is what this book is for me. This is what it is. So like some of these pages, it looked like beautiful. Oh, this was a video, but this paper was new. This paper was new. I think all of these papers were brand new. And I had a vision for how to pull them all together into one spread. And so I sat down, but this did end up being a YouTube video. So there is a video, and you guys notice how my pages don't stick together. It's because I wax them after I'm done. Because with the acrylic, you guys can see, like, let me see. Let me get a good example. I have one page that's like completely jacked because my pages stuck together. And you guys can see here where I'm opening and pages are like sticking together. So I started waxing my pages, and the pages that are waxed have like 0 sticking, and just a little bit of clear wax, put it on there and buff off any extra wax, and you're good to go. And that's what I'll be doing. I need to wax this one. This one is an idea that we discovered during our Mad Scientist Monday, and I haven't had a chance to really vet it out yet, but I want to. We actually put this color that you see is not on top. It's actually underneath. I just did a really colorful painting like this one underneath, and then we decoupaged a flower over the top. And then I went in and I painted white in between everything, so that the only thing that was left was the flower. So I do want to play with that idea a little bit, but not today. Today we're going to be doing some watercolor painting.
Dorothy says, do you rip out pages or stick pages together to make them thicker?
Sometimes, Dorothy. So what I should be doing, thank you, Dorothy, best thing to do is to take out 3 pages and then use 3 pages and stick those pages together, and then take out 3 pages and then stick 3 pages together. And then that way you get a nice heavy piece of paper. Ouch, that won't curl up like that one's doing right there. And that can handle all the moisture and everything that you're doing. But no, Dorothy, I do not do that. If I ever get to do a journal that I'm going to be like more precious about, I probably will. But no, I did not do this one, and I did not bring a clamp out. So I'm going to go over this with this watercolor ground, you guys, and we are just going to, and that's all the prep that we're going to have to do on this one. And I hope this one is transparent. I don't have a box on here. I guess we will find out together if it's transparent. I think it is. But I did buy like a couple of brands because Daniel Smith has one, but this isn't the Daniel Smith one. So this may be the one that wasn't transparent. You want to make sure that you're using a transparent watercolor ground. If you're using it over the top of your paper, right? Because you want to be able to see. So just in case, I'm going to use a really thin coat. And I'm going to paint mine right away, you guys. But best case scenario, you want to put your watercolor and like let it chill for a few hours. But we're going to be rushing ours tonight. We are live. And I do not think this one is, that's why I'm still over. This one was not transparent, but it's okay. I can still see underneath. So I think we're. I'm going to go through and pick up a little bit of this to make sure, because it's going to dry more opaque than it looks right now. I just want to make sure I'm going to be able to see. So this one's a little, I don't think this one was transparent. So make sure that you get a transparent watercolor ground. Daniel Smith has one. But I think it's in the house in my studio. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and dry this. Dang it. I really hate that because I hope you guys can see what I'm doing, because you see how it pushed back the artwork. Putting that on top of there.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna cheat. We're gonna lift some of that up. So make sure you get a transparent watercolor ground. Don't do what I just did. And now my paper is gonna have additional texture, which I guess won't be awful from my paper towel. Not so loud, okay, Papa? Okay. You guys can still see that, right? Let me put, since we're working on a small project, let's get you guys a little closer. Get a little closer. Okay. My camera is crooked, it's not me. I'm gonna dry this and then we're gonna start dropping in some color and we're gonna see what happens. So I wanted to talk about the birds because I do see everyone avoiding the birds, and I don't know if it's pressure. If it's pressure to use the correct color, right, when you're painting the birds, or maybe I will tell you that I started sketching birds and they are like seemingly simple, but they're not simple. But I think there's just a couple things to remember when you're painting the birds, and that is in your mind, not like in person. Cut your bird into sections, not cut them, you know what I'm saying? Because you have the head right here. And if you guys look at birds, this is a lot of them. This is how their colors kind of work too, right? The different sections are different colors. And so you have the head here, right? That's the head of your bird. And then you have their like chest here. And sometimes the feathers underneath will blend into a different color. And then of course their feathers can be different colors. But like you don't have to follow any rules. And like, I don't know what kind of birds these are. I just use them because they were pretty. I don't know what they are. So there's no right or wrong.
Jolene DeVitt says, what is the next step in the contest after the voting closes tonight?
So the voting closes tonight, and I'm going to go through, me and ChatGPT are going to go through, and we are going to tally everything. And then we'll be making the announcements, I'm going to say by Wednesday. We'll make announcements of who the winners are. You will receive an email. So if your item, actually what we'll do is we'll send out like the lists of winners or the people who came out with the most votes. I'll send that out to every participant. So you guys will get an email and it'll just say congratulations, and it'll show who got the most votes in each category. And then my judges, they've been judging already. So they'll be giving me their results. And so you guys will get that in an email Wednesday or Thursday. I do have a chamber meeting Wednesday morning. I'm going to say Thursday. You guys will hear the announcements. And if you get an email and you're a winner, be sure you get back to your shipping address so we can get your prizes out in the mail. And then, of course, I'll announce it Thursday on the page as well. So we'll send the email out and we'll also announce it on the page, and then we'll go from there. And then for my professionals, my businesses, it's kind of fun because there's we're doing an interview on my page. And then you guys also get to have your pieces displayed on the cover of my page for 30 days. So hopefully it'll be more exposure for you. Kathleen said removing some help so she could see it better. Yeah, Kathleen, you really want to make sure that you get the transparent ground is transparent. And Daniel Smith has a transparent watercolor ground, which is perfect because you put it on there and you can't see it at all. So I just removed some of this, yeah, so you guys could see better because I accidentally picked up the opaque one. Dang it. But let's start painting. I have a piece of, this is just like a piece of silicone. Yeah. I think I tightened it up a little bit too much, didn't I? I didn't give myself a lot of leeway. Okay. This is just a piece of like release paper, like a silicone release paper. So I'm using that for a palette tonight. I do have a few watercolors here, and I don't have a swatch though, so I really don't know what colors they are. But I have some transparent paint here on my table. So like this ochre yellow is transparent, so I can use that. I believe this magenta is transparent. We'll double check. I know that this Payne's Gray is transparent. I do not think this color is transparent, or is it semi-transparent? I don't think so. I don't know. If you don't know, like if your color is transparent or not, just like do a swatch. And if you can see through it, then it's transparent, right? If you put it down and you can't see underneath it, then it's opaque. So this one's like semi-transparent. I think it'll be fine. I don't know if we're going to use it, but it'll be fine. And these are my bottles from our retreat last year that I'm using because you have to mix your own colors all weekend, just for those who are coming new, just so you know. We do play with some color on how to make colors. So one of the things that Peggy did today that I really liked, I'm going to steal it right now, is that she did like a really pretty warm background for the background. And so I'm going to do my background first. I'm going to mist my paper because I want my background to be like really soft. So I'm going to lay down some water first so that the watercolors kind of move around. Or it's not watercolor, so that this paint moves around. And you guys, I in my Amazon store, I do have a Meeden watercolor palette. I think it's like $25, but you get 40 colors. That's the good thing about watercolor. Like if you want to buy paints, is you get so many colors, right, for a really small investment, and it lasts forever, like forever. So if you don't have anything, you know, a watercolor palette is fun. If you already have paint, then you can just add some medium, like some acrylic medium or some clear coat to your paint to make it transparent. If the paint is already transparent, it's better because then you get like this clarity that you just can't get when you're watering down an opaque paint. It's kind of milky a little bit. It's still fine though. So if that's what you have, then use that. I just don't want you guys to think you have to go out and buy a whole bunch of new stuff. I wish I had my alcohol spray bottle to spray into this too. And this is still a little bit too bright. I wish I had some. Oh, you know what? I do have some umber somewhere. And you know what? If you have acrylic inks, those work good too, because most of these are transparent. And this is actually just what I need, some burnt umber to just warm this up a little bit. Anything, baby?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are quiet tonight. Oh yeah, that's a little bit better. I like that. That yellow was kind of bright by itself. Which some of you probably liked. I want to do something. I wish I had a spray bottle though.
Oh, Catherine Lukowski just found a thrift store near her, picked up oversized travel books to turn into art journals.
Yes.
And
Those.
Dorothy asked, why alcohol spray onto watercolor?
So Dorothy, this is just regular acrylic paint. It's not watercolor that I'm using right now. And if I could spray alcohol, it like disperses the paint and you get like this really cool texture that I like. And you guys know how I like visual texture. I think I'm going to use a brush. I'm sorry, you guys. My mind is just gone somewhere, so I have to follow it. Those of you who have been with me for a while, you guys know already. So I'm going to just put some alcohol in my brush and just splash it on there. And I'll show you guys the texture that you get. And this is with the acrylic paint. And then I'm going to dry it really quickly so that I can keep that texture. I'm going to show you guys up close in just a second. And the reason why I'm drying it is because if you leave it wet, it like keeps moving and sometimes you lose a lot of the texture that you create. So I like to dry it right away. And you guys can see that texture that I get. And that's because the alcohol is kind of dispersing that paint some. Excuse me. I've been like hiccuping all day. I don't know what that is. So let me get this corner done and then we'll get to the dirty parts. And I'm just using the yellow ochre transparent paint that I mixed with a little bit of water. And I'm just using a little bit of burnt umber just to like, I don't know, to bring it down a little bit so it's not so bright. And I'm just basically putting a wash on the back. Because I was watching Peggy this morning and I really did enjoy that warm wash with the colors in the front. And you don't have to paint the background. You could just paint your flowers and leave it wet. I mean, leave the rest white, which will probably feel like more fresh and springy, but you guys know me.
Jolene DeWitt says, I see so many videos on journals and I've never started one. What do most people use them for? Sorry for an ignorant question.
There's no such thing as an ignorant question, girl. You don't know, you don't know. And if you don't ask, you won't know, right? I use mine to practice. Some people use theirs to make beautiful art, and that's where they keep it, right? Because if you're making pieces, sometimes knowing where to put them can be a thing. Like if you make a lot of wall art and all your walls get full, you're like, now what, right? Having an art journal allows you to make really beautiful art and it's stored naturally inside of a book. So it's easily accessible. You're still honoring the art that you made. For me, this is my practice. This is my mad scientist book. This is what I use to try out new ideas, to practice in. Some of it works out, some of it doesn't. I could probably do a better job of keeping notes in my journal. Because sometimes I go back to a page and I'm like, dang it, what did I do? So it's probably better if you keep notes inside your journal if you're using it for experiments. But you guys can answer in the comments like what you use your journals for. So see, splashing that alcohol just adds like a level of interest. And you may or may not like that texture, but I like it a lot. Let me see what color. So we have kind of a where's my color wheel? So when I'm thinking about the background versus the front, I want the front to stand out. Oh, I have green and these colors on this side. That's will be no bueno. If I were, let's say I'm using this, and let's say if I were to go in and I were to paint it like yellow, I would be, the background would be competing with yellow, right? So I want something that's going to stand out a little bit more. I'm going to do red, I think. Let me see something really quickly. I could do violet. So one of the things about your color wheels, you guys, is you can use it to help you pick colors. So it says orange right here, but we know that it's more, and I could even say like a yellow orange. Maybe that's a better version of it, a yellow orange. And so I could do a split complement, and I could paint my flower violet and blue, or I could do like a triad. I could do a red violet and a blue green. Ooh, that's pretty. I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's do like a red violet color on the flowers. And then we can still use yellow, red violet, and the blue green on our bird. And that'll be really pretty. So a red violet. I'm going to mix. And then when he falls and gets hurt, he's all mad because he fell and got hurt. One of the things, so last year, we spent some time talking at the retreat about like how you can mix your own colors and how colors work. And we'll be doing that again this year, but we'll be taking it to kind of the next level of that. I'm going to miss this again just because I don't want my flowers to end up with a solid color. I want this to be a wash. When you're using these papers, if you're using transparent colors, it's nice because you can still see the flower through the color. So all of the shading is already done on these. And so you're not having to worry about the highlights and the shades. You're just adding in the color, and all of the line work is doing all of the heavy lifting for you. Do we like that color? I don't know. I think I'll come back and make it deeper later. We'll get a first layer of color down, and then we'll come back. And even though you don't have to, I like to paint like the way the flower is growing. I could just go in and put color all over, but I do like it better when I'm following the petals. And if you do, I do not have this one. Dang it. I do have, I wonder if it's on my resource. On the roycycled.com, I have a resource page, and there are a couple of resources on there. And I believe I have the resource showing you how to paint your paper, or how to kind of interpret the lines and the shading on the paintable decoupage paper designs. I don't have an automation set up to send you guys an automatic message for the map. Facebook will only let me do 3 or 4 at a time, so I had to choose. Maybe there was something we were going to talk about tonight. You're supposed to help me remember. Do you not remember at all? I said, baby, I want to talk about this tonight.
I don't
Oh,
say it.
dang it. It was important. I wanted to talk about the contest because today's the last day. And I do want to thank everyone who entered a piece into a contest. Thank you so much for sharing your work. I'm going through and looking at the comments on everybody's entries, and people were truly inspired, which is why I like to encourage you guys to share, because you don't know who you're going to impact by simply sharing your work. And something that you thought was like simple and easy can be like something that turns on a switch for somebody else in their creative journey, right? So that's why I love to encourage sharing, because it really does. Like, as a community, we're all inspired by the pieces that you guys submitted. So thank you so much.
Madonna Rapp says, I can't find a copy of the mixed media game. Can I get a copy of it somewhere?
You know what? If you're on Facebook, you can put #experiments and you'll get a message with the link to the game. If you're on YouTube, there is, if you go to the community, I believe there's a link on my community tab on YouTube. So you should be able to find it there. And Madonna, let me know if you don't find it, because I can put it in the membership too, in the community, so you can find it.
Tammy says it was really fun to do. My first time using a full sheet all at once.
Oh.
I'm guessing the contents.
Yeah, Tammy did 2 pieces. They're super pretty. That was your first time, Tammy? Really? I'm trying to think, because I'm thinking that I saw you do a piece like that before. But maybe not.
Shannon Booth says an art journal for her is a mixture of both. She's nervous to write her thoughts, feelings down for anyone to find, so she creates over her writing, and it also serves as inspiration.
Yes. And so at the retreat, we'll be doing some journaling as well. And you guys will be creating over your words, so nobody will be able to read it, but you'll know. One of the things I do, you guys, sometimes it can be like you don't know what colors to use, right? Because you're afraid that they won't go together. But if you use the same group of colors, it will work. So I'm using the same blue with my ochre yellow to make my green. And so my green is going to look like it belongs on this page because it has that ochre yellow in it. I mean, because it has the same blue that the flowers have in it. And the color I'm using here is not as transparent as I would like, but it's too late. And you don't have to use transparent colors. It just makes it so easy when you do, because all of your line work just shows through. And so it just works. You don't have to do any extra work. You're literally just adding color. And it doesn't even have to be perfect. And I pulled my watercolors out, but I haven't used any of them. I'm literally just using transparent acrylic paint that I've mixed with some water. That's all I'm using. But I do have a bit of a palette. So I have this blue, this, it's a cooler blue because it's leaning towards green. And I have this cooler red that I'm using, which is leaning towards blue. So it's more of a magenta than a red. And then this ochre yellow I have on my palette, which is kind of warmer. It's a warmer yellow, but it's nice because you notice that my green isn't super bright. If I mix this color with regular yellow, it would be like green. But because I mixed this cooler blue with a warmer yellow, it kind of neutralizes it neutralizes the color that we make. And so we'll be talking a lot about warm and cool colors at the retreat, you guys. I'm excited. I am excited. Because sometimes you mix colors and you think one thing is going to happen and it doesn't. Something else happens. And if you don't understand like how colors work, then you don't understand what happened. So my goal is to equip you guys with information that's going to make it easier for you to get what you have in your heads out on your projects. And I know that there are some of you who are like, oh, you know, that's a little bit too deep for me. But if you're painting and you're using colors, you're going to benefit from understanding how colors work. So I mixed a kind of a different color green. So I'm just kind of splotching it around everywhere just so I can have some diversity isn't the word that came up, but that's not really not the word I was looking for, but I'll take it. Because I don't want everything to be the same green all the way through. And I'm going to go back in here. I think I need a little bit more red in these than that's in there. So we'll come back to these. So remember we talked about our birds and we talked about the different parts. Let's start with our bird's head. So we already have like some darkness around here. I want to drop, what colors do I want to drop in there? Oh yeah, we had teal, which we kind of have on our palette already. We have teal. Let's add a little bit of this burnt umber. Ugh. When you're mixing colors, your dark color influences your lighter colors so much more than you ever think it will. So it's something to keep in mind. I did want to neutralize it a little bit because I don't want it to be like super bright. And I know there's somebody like, I know Dorothy does bird watching and she's like, no, it's supposed to be yellow. It's my bird, Dorothy, and I can do what I want to. And I'm going to make it this color. And I'm going to make this back part the same color too. And I could have gone in with the yellow, but I feel like the yellow just would have been like blah against, because the background is already yellow. And I'm dropping that color and that shape. And because I don't have water anywhere, it's just going to basically stay right there and it's going to dry. So I'm going to leave that right there. I do want to get his beak though. And let's make his beak like a brighter yellow. I'm going to use this watercolor yellow. Is really pretty. And you guys see me misting water. I'm just putting a little bit of water down so I can like mix my color in it. And I wanted to use that bright yellow so that it stands out a little bit against the background. And I'm literally just dropping color into shapes. That's it. Just dropping the color in there. This one right here is running a little bit, so I'm just going to go in and pick that up. So I don't want it to run off my bird. It's running away. We don't want it to run away. I have this yellow. It's really bright though. Let's put a little bit of ochre yellow in there and calm it down just a little bit. And you guys know if you have a color and it's super bright, the way you can like make it less like loud is by mixing a little bit of its complement. You just want to make sure that you start with a little bit. You don't want to go in with a lot because then your color might get too muddy. But you can calm a color down by adding in a little bit of its complement. And again, I'm using transparent colors so that I can still see the line work underneath. And that line work is doing the heavy lifting as far as like defining the bird. I'm just putting colors on him. I'm basically just coloring like a coloring book. I'm just using paint. And you can use like colored pencils too. I had a lot of fun doing a piece with colored pencils. I am going to add a little bit of that green with that yellow for his underbelly. I'm trying to think of what I want to do with the wings. I have this green that I made. What if I just shifted it a little bit? Let's add a little bit more of that teal. And we're going to get something a little darker, but a little bit of blue. And everything's going to go together because I'm using the same colors. Even though I'm mixing colors, I'm always using the same colors. And so everything is still going to speak to each other. And that's one of the beauties of mixing your own colors too, is that you can make sure that your colors are going to go well together.
Tammy says she's also used paint pens to color them in.
Yes. And paint pans are probably a lot more controlled too. I don't know if I like that green. I mean, that was a little bit more green than I had originally envisioned in my mind. Let's see if we can make it a little bit more teal. And I drove my ladies a little crazy last year because we didn't have any black. But like you can mix like a bunch of colors and you can make your own black. Black is not black anyways. It's just like really dark. That's why when you mix yellow with black, you end up with like a green color. I should probably use a different brush. And I don't like the way that, I'll show you guys up front. I dropped that paint in there and let it dry, but I'm really not liking that texture, but it's okay. Because this is just my art journal, right? And I'm practicing. And now I know when I get ready to paint a project, don't drop my paint in there like that. This little brown branch right here. And I'll show you guys what I mean. You guys see how that it's like too definitive. It made an edge on there and it's weird. These colors look nice, right? Because they're just blended in and you can still see there's a shadow right here. There's a shadow on his underbelly and it's still showing through that yellow really nicely. But this green looks weird right there, doesn't it? You can say it. It does. It looks weird. I don't like it.
It's a bird.
It is. That's a bird.
The bird is sweet.
Is he sweet? Oh, thank you. Damar says my bird is sweet, you guys. And I don't have any, I mean, I'm not using any kind of special brush. I probably should have changed my brush because I'm mixing colors. Although, you guys, I like if I get to a point where I want something to be like really bright and pure, I'll clean my brush. But most of the time, I'm just going from color to color because I do feel like having that little bit of kind of cross-contamination makes my colors go together well. Oh, man. And so that's my little sweetie. This is too dark, isn't it? And that's bothering me. What can I do to fix that, you guys? I'm just going to leave it. And I'm going to dry this so I can put a little bitty dot in his eye, a dot of white. And so these paintable papers really do offer you an opportunity to explore, right? To explore color, to explore texture, to challenge yourself, right? I do want to put some highlights on here because everything feels really flat. And I'm going to show you guys something really quickly because I know somebody's going to ask me. Oh, man, I wiped his eye. Do you guys see what I did? I am fired. I forgot I put like a pile of color there. So it was going to take a little bit longer to dry. I'll use a paint marker for his eyeball. I have some white paint somewhere. I do have some creamy acrylic from his arts. And actually, I like the white because it isn't completely opaque. And it's kind of in the middle. It's not transparent and it's not opaque. So I'm going to use a little bit of this creamy acrylics from Pent Art, and this is matte. And I do have a little bitty paintbrush right here for his eyeball. So let me paint it again because I ruined it.
The big.
And I probably should have used this brush to do my branches. I know, Dorothy, like a Palo Verde. Are you playing zombies, baby?
You want to try and do it without losing.
Oh. Dorothy Lass says fluorescent teal for the head and the wings.
I didn't do it.
Like right here. What am I doing?
Sorry, bud.
Oh, I need a dot of, I just need to put a sparkle in his eye. So let me do that really quickly. Just a wee bit, just a little dot right there.
Lisa Ansel says hello tomorrow. Michelle Fensky says, can you pull the paper down so we can see you mixing the colors?
I'm sorry. Yes. I was trying to get you guys close to the book because I want you guys to see what I'm doing. But the tighter I am, the less you can see everything else. So let me.
We're at 6:17.
Okay. That went by really fast. There was something really important I wanted to talk about. I'm so upset with myself. What's coming up after the retreat? The retreat is in 30 days, you guys, and we do still have seats available. So if you're still on the fence, you should come. It's going to be fun.
What's the cutoff, though? You said that there was a cutoff for that.
Yeah, I'm doing the cutoff at the number of seats, not at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so as long as there are seats available, they can sign up.
Oh, okay.
I am so upset. There was something really important I wanted to talk about tonight. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put some highlights. I just love on my classical art journey, you're supposed to save your highlights for last. And I get in trouble, y'all, because I want to do them now because they just make everything better. As soon as you put that highlight on, it's like, oh, everything wakes up. So I'm going to go through and anywhere where the lines, you guys see the lines on here, and it's like darker if you go down into the flower. And then along the edges, you can see that there aren't any lines. Those are places where you want to put your highlights where you don't see any lines. And so that's all I'm doing. I'm like literally following the map on the paper to decide where I paint what. So I'm not going to do all the highlights. I'm just going to do some of them.
Dorothy Lage says, remember, Color on Birds is all about mating selection.
See, she's a bird watcher. I knew she's going to come in here and tell me something. Dorothy,
Well,
I don't know.
I changed the word a little bit because we have somebody in here.
Oh, okay. Oh, so I should be using
Depends. This is a boy bird.
yeah, but the boy birds are always the brightest ones. Okay. Which I don't, even the peacocks, right? If the male is the one with the pretty feathers.
Yes.
So why we run around here wearing makeup? Y'all should be the ones wearing makeup, baby. I mean, if we're gonna go along with nature.
Well, you know the reason
Why?
to attract predators. So the muted colors blend into the nest, so the female can protect the eggs, and the male attracts predators away from the nest.
Really? I thought it was to attract females.
I mean, that might be part of it too, but it's mainly to be seen.
Okay, so when I wear makeup, I'm protecting the predator, so you can be blending in with the nest.
What can I say? I nurture.
Not that I wear that much makeup, but I mean women in general.
Dorothy says your bird looks like a northern parula.
Dorothy just came back from, where'd you go, Dorothy? Costa Rica? To go bird watching. I was telling the guys, we're working on a tourism project and we're doing like a community asset inventory. And I said burning like 3 times, and they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. It's like it's a big deal. People travel, and the Gila box has a lot of pretty birds."
Dawn Williams, Peggy was talking about when you seal your piece, you need to use a spray to prevent paint running. I don't remember you mentioning that. Is that something we should do, or is there an alternate? I'm confused.
So it depends on what kind of paint you use. If you're using watercolor, they will reactivate when they become wet. But I've been using just watered down acrylic paint and acrylic inks. So my colors are not going to water. They're not going to reactivate. So for me, I'm not going to have to worry about that because of the products I'm using. But if you're using purely watercolors, yes, you want to make sure you seal them so that they don't reactivate when you go back over them. But if you're just watering down your acrylic paint, you don't have to worry about it. It's kind of like using clay-based paint, right? It reactivates with water, so you have to make sure you seal it. But I'm using just acrylic paint that's been watered down, so I don't have to worry about it for this.
Dorothy says she was in Costa Rica, but the northern Parula is in southeastern Arizona.
Oh, that's where I am in southeastern Arizona. You know, I used to walk. We have these walking trails here, which I love them. And there was a cardinal in the same place every morning in the bushes. He was always by himself. And then one day I didn't see him anymore. When you go on walks around here, you have to take a stick because there might be some javelina out there. And you guys, if you need something to relax you, like this can be so relaxing. I'm being kind of a chicken a little bit by watering my white down a lot. The one thing about acrylics that's a little irritating is that they always dry darker. So like you put white down and you think it's going to be all bright and then it dries and it's not. So that's why you guys see me like reapplying my white again, because it dried darker than it was when I put it on originally. And I am not a watercolor artist. I would just like to go on record to say that. So the things I'm teaching you are not going to be like stuff that you're going to learn in a watercolor class. Because a watercolor instructor would have told you to preserve your whites and not color them at all to begin with. But I am not a watercolor artist or instructor. I'm just telling you guys how you can drop transparent color on your paper and you can choose whatever colors you want. It's up to you to create your own pieces. And I noticed that you guys are enjoying the botanical more because the silhouettes are kind of already put together. When I made the other papers in my imagination, I thought you guys were going to be like tearing paper and making your own like kind of vignettes and then painting them. But maybe I was doing a little bit too much. So you guys see how the highlights, to me, it just makes everything better. I'm going to put a little bit of white on his chest too, like right here.
Yeah.
What time is it, baby? You told me I'm out of time? Okay. I'm going to pretend like there's highlights on the top of his beak. I don't know if there are or not, but there are now. So if you are using watercolors, you know, you're going to want to seal yours with a spray so that you don't reactivate the colors. I'm just using watered down paint for mine. The watercolors would be prettier though, I will say. Like if I was using watercolor, the colors would probably be more vivid than they are with the watered down paint. But if you don't have that, then you can just use what you have and just water it down and it'll be fine. and have fun and experiment, especially if your art journal is just an old book, right? It's not precious at all.
Yeah. Boy.
I put a little bit too much right there. So you guys see how you can build up color too. So just because I have this one layer of color doesn't mean I have to stop. I can keep building up more and more color and making it darker. I can even go in with a different color. Like if I had painted these red, maybe I would go in at the tops with yellow or orange. And again, I don't know if that's the color that these flowers are supposed to be, but I am world building, right? I'm building my own world when I'm making, so I can follow whatever rules I want to follow. I don't have to follow any rules.
Don Williams says, what kind of spray?
You can get a spray, a fixative. A workable fixative is good because it allows you to keep painting. It doesn't like seal it. Sometimes you put a fixative on there and it will like your surface just gets super slick, and so your products won't sit on it anymore. So a workable fixative is good. And you can just literally, that's what it's called, a workable fixative. And you can spray that on your pieces and that will fix your color. And then you can continue building on top of that if you want.
And Kathleen Uva says, I don't understand how you know what areas to highlight.
So let me get a piece. Let me get a big one. So let's look at bigger, let's look at this flower. So you see how like in there it's super dark, right? Like those are the darkest shadows. And then on some of them, it's just lines, right? Those are kind of like your midtones or your medium shadows. But you notice that in some spots, there aren't any lines. It's just white. That's where you would put your highlight. So you would put your highlight anywhere, and you see it's not a lot, but you see places on here where there's no lines at all. It's just absolutely white. Those are the places where you would put your highlights. So like the reason why I call it my map is because everything is mapped out for you legitimately. And you don't even have to put highlights. You could just go over with a transparent color and you would be good. I do think going in and finding those, I'll call them ball spots. Going in and finding those ball spots that don't have any lines whatsoever and adding some white, it really does wake your piece up. So that's how I know where to put my whites. So anywhere where there are no lines is where I would go in and put a highlight. And I do have a resource. I think it's on my page. If you go to roycycle.com, there's a tab that says resources, and there are a bunch of resources on the page. And I do think that the paintable paper map is on there. And if it isn't, message me and I'll send you the link for it, okay? But that's all I have today. Sorry, y'all. It was kind of, I mean, not boring, but, you know, not really exciting today. And this color isn't really riching up the way I want it to either. I just need to put some more layers, I think. It looks kind of, everything looks kind of ashy, doesn't it? I think it's because I use that opaque ground too, instead of the transparent ground. But that's all I have, unless you had anything else, babe. I was supposed to talk to you guys about something really important, and I'm going to push that button right there, and then I'm going to remember what it was. And now I can't remember. But just remember, you guys, when you guys are making, I just love that idea of being world builders, right? These are our creations, and we can use whatever colors we want. And the information that I give you guys are not rules. It's just kind of what's the word I'm looking for, baby?
Guideline? Suggestions?
Yeah, it's like a starting place. But once you start creating, you may discover your own preferences that are different. And so when somebody teaches you something, don't think I have to do it, you know, this one way all the time. That's just an approach, right? And once you start creating yourself, you can make tweaks and changes based on your own personal preferences. So Remember your bird, you have your head, your your chest and your underwings, and then you have your wings. And your wings actually have several sets too, but I don't think any of our bird wings are open. Oh, this guy's are. So you guys will notice that you have this top part of the wings, and then this part is like a whole nother separate part, and then you have this bottom part. So you could theoretically paint these 3 different colors, although you don't have to, just so you know. But and then this is actually a whole nother section, these long wings down here. Don't even ask me how deep of a wormhole I've gone in for how to be able to draw birds. There is a guy on YouTube, his last name is, oh, I forget it, but he teaches you like how to sketch birds in nature. And he really breaks it down like super simply and super simple, really beautifully. So I'll put his link on Royce Cycle page tomorrow. But David is playing zombies versus. I know, but you haven't been chatty at all tonight, baby.
Well, I've been asking the questions when they're up. Karen Moyer asked, is Mad Scientist Monday still on?
Yes.
Did the time change?
I will be on at 10 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. I will not be here at 9 a.m. You guys will get woken up Royce tomorrow. And yes. And so for those of you who don't know, Mad Scientist Monday every morning, 10 a.m. And I have a can full of sticks, and each of these sticks is a different creative prompt. So I pull 4 of these, and then I have to do them. So you guys get to watch me spin my wheels and figure out what I'm going to do live. It's pretty funny, actually. I spun for a long time last week. Oh, but I think I ended up with something cool, though. Last week, we did a clipboard. So I had to do an opaque decoupage over decoupage. I had to use physical texture, traditional decoupage, and I don't remember what the other one. I think it was physical texture, and then I had to use a stencil. So I did a raised stencil over the texture of my piece. So we didn't finish, and on the first Monday of April, we'll go back to these pieces and we'll finish them. So we have a couple that we need to go back and do finishing touches on. So that's all I have for tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed this evening. I know it was kind of laid back and simple this evening, but next week we'll get back to our tray that we're making into a light sconce, and we'll finish that. And then we'll come up. Oh, I remember what I was going to ask you guys now that everybody is gone. Generally, I teach a class once a quarter. I didn't do anything this quarter, and the next quarter is like right around the corner. So what would you guys like to learn? That's what I was going to ask, baby. You're supposed to help me remember.
I'm sorry. I remember the thing about the membership.
Oh, yeah. I'm not ready for that yet. I'll talk about that tomorrow. But so you guys be thinking, put your thinking caps on. If you're new, I do have decoupage courses already available. So if you'd like to take a deep dive into decoupage and really learn how to blend your paper if it's not large enough, different ways that you can modify your decoupage paper that change how it works and how it looks. Like we take a super deep dive on decoupage inside of my courses. I do have decoupage. What is it? I have a decoupage course on there. So it would have to be something else. So you guys give me some ideas and we'll see what we come up with. But you guys thank you, Donna, a good evening, and I will see you guys mañana. But remember, make time in your creative practice to play and to experiment, because where experimentation goes, creativity follows. You guys have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow morning.